this resounding victory for England sets up Sunday beautifully. Virat Kohli has promised that India will bring their A game, and certainly we cannot take that promise lightly, because if India can deliver what they promised, we know what they're capable of. England know it, and by now India know exactly what England are capable of. It sets it up for a cracking finale on Sunday. It's the last game of this long tour, which started with the tests, went on to the T20 internationals, and is finishing up in, well, the least preferred of the three formats as far as relevance is concerned, but so much to take out with everything else going on. Let's look ahead to Sunday's finale and start with the India squad, because India are the team coming off a defeat, and certainly no matter how nice you want to be, Joy, to someone like Kuldeep, you've got to turn around and say, maybe we've given him two chances, but if we're going to bring our A game and absolutely go for broke, we probably need to rest him and look at an option. Joy?
Absolutely. I think Kuldeep needs to be rested immediately, because it's also a confidence matter out there. And I think Natarajan is definitely somebody who I'd look at. For Kuldeep, definitely Yajuvendra Chahal, he needs to be back. He needs to, whatever it is, Chahal is a smart enough bowler. And one of the things that Kuldeep now has a problem with, which he needs to think about, is his shoulders literally slump. You can see his face going there, and that's something that Chahal never tends to give you. Even when you hit him, he tends to remain chirpy, and I think Kuldeep just needs a little bit of time off to think about this. That's one. The other is, we can't afford to keep playing five bowlers. So I'm saying that, you need to find a way to make Washington Sundar play, because that's the only other all-rounder you have in this lineup. So either you're going to tell yourself, Hardik, you're going to bowl 4 to 5 overs. You need to bowl for us. Or you need to say that Washington Sundar needs to make his way into the 11 to replace somebody. Because India cannot keep going in with 5 bowlers and no alternatives, because it's very, very difficult with this kind of a rampaging English batting lineup to do it with 5 bowlers. So either Hardik has to bowl, or Washington Sundar has to step in for a batsman.
Well, I think, probably the former, Michael Vaughan, because what Virat Kohli did say is it's about management. It's about managing himself, managing Hardik Pandya, rather than saying there is a niggle, which there isn't. So if it's about managing, you can say, look, this is a decider. We're bringing our A game. Give me 4 overs.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it depends on how much the team's put on this one game. A series victory. Is it that desperate for the teams to win that they may risk Hardik Pandya getting another injury? We don't know how bad his body is. I'd look at it more in the batting. And just say to the players, look, we need to get 380. At this stage. It's a risk for us to bowl Hardik Pandya, so it looks like we're only going to have 5 bowling options. We've got to get beyond par with the bat. If you get beyond par with the bat, generally 380. I mean, if teams are chasing 380 down, 400, well, it will be a great spectacle. But Natarajan, I'd bring in the left armour. Washington Sundar maybe for Kuldeep Yadav, so you pack your batting so you can go a little bit harder at the top. That's all I'd do. I'd just say to the batters, right, if we bat first on a similar kind of wicket, yes, you've still got to assess it. And it's down to the openers to assess. Yes, it's the same kind of pitch as the second pitch. Right, we need 380, 400, and that's what we're going to go for.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating to see. I mean, obviously, if India were to do it again 3 in a row, to see that possible progression and improvement if they were to do it, Joy. But if it happens the other way around, that England are asked to bat first, or they decide to do it themselves, and it'll be interesting to see how much this power-packed batting lineup actually puts on for India. So either way, it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's a really big game, and I think it's been nicely set up. There are questions now to be answered from both teams. If India had whitewashed the series, it was 2-0 over, then you'd see a lot of reserves play the last game. Everyone saying, okay, don't get injured before the IPL. That would have been the mantra. I think now it's a little bit more serious than that. They're playing for pride, they're playing for a few things, and they're playing for a few questions that they possibly need answered in their heads before they go in for the IPL.
And they're also, just like we mentioned a lot of stats in the T20 International Series deciders, India too are not bad at deciders in ODIs. England squad, just want to tell them, let's start the game right now, Michael. Maybe Bairstow and Stokes are a little bit winded, but everybody else, come on, we'll play now. We've got the momentum, but pretty much the same 11, Michael?
Yeah, I think so. I think Mark Wood may get a mention if his body's fine. I think he may come in for potentially Tom Curran. I thought Reece Topley was very good. I think they'd have hoped to have given Matt Parkinson a ball, in the game. But whether they'll throw the leg spinner in for Adil Rashid in the last game, again, it just depends on how much importance the team's put on this one-off kind of decider. If it's about developing a team for 2 years' time, which I believe it is, I personally would throw Matt Parkinson in for a game, because you just don't know what's going to happen in those 2 years. One game of experience against the likes of Virat and co in Ahmedabad on a decent pitch. In 2 years' time, Matt Parkinson might be in the England side. You just don't know how bad that shoulder of Adil Rashid is. And I think Rashid is one of the players that England would find very difficult to replace. All that top order, I think England have enough power in depth that they'll always be able to get big scores, because they've got so many players that can hit the ball. Seam bowlers, all-rounder, I guess, Ben Stokes, they haven't got too many to replace him. But in terms of spin, Adil Rashid is just an unbelievable performer for England, and he would be very, very difficult to replace. So over the course of the next 2 years, I think they're going to have to find games for Matt Parkinson or a leg spinner, just in case Adil Rashid doesn't make it to that 2023 World Cup. I think he will, but you wouldn't want to run the risk of him getting injured close to that tournament, and then you've given no experience to someone like Matt Parkinson. So as much as it's a decider and it's a one-off final, I would be tempted to give Parkinson a game over Adil Rashid.